Good, so we will begin by lying on our backs. You need to stop. Start with your knees bent. Allow the heaviness of the bones to ground you down. Connect you to the earth. If it's comfortable to extend the heels away from the crown, you can do that. If that causes any low back pain, just keep the knees bent, feet a little bit wide, let the legs come together. So the low back is supported and the legs can relax. And then become aware of your breath. Notice if the chest feels tight or open. If the breath is short or long. If the inhales or the exhales bear more weight in this moment. And then begin to intentionally deepen your breath. As you inhale, breathe into the back body, the side bodies, as well as the front body. And as you exhale completely, allow the front body to settle back, spread wide across the back body and across the floor. Continue with that breath. Inhale, expanding the whole torso from the inside out, like a balloon. And as you exhale completely, sink into the support of the ground beneath you. Connect to the universal blueprint for optimal alignment that exists when the bones and joints stack in the back body plane. Feel how this alignment supports the muscles, the organs, with the stacking of the bones and joints. We begin like this to remember what this feels like as we are looking for it in all of the shapes. And then do a quick scan through the physical body from the bottoms of the feet and the tips of the toes. Inhale and pull the awareness up through the legs, into the pelvis, the hips, the low back. Notice any areas of tension, soreness, general discomfort. Feel free to make any adjustments you need to make at any point in time throughout the practice. And then inhale deeply into those places that feel tight and sore and stuck, gently opening and expanding with the in-breath, and allowing tension to leave the body with the breath as you exhale. The next inhale pulls the awareness of the torso into the shoulders, the neck, and the face. Once again, just observing where in the upper body you're holding tension today. Using the breath to go there. As you inhale deeply, create space, invite fresh oxygen and blood to flow through those areas. As you exhale completely, continue the conversation of consciously asking the body to soften, release, and let go. Lastly, check in with the mind. Notice where your thoughts are at. Observe the speed at which they move through you. Allow yourself to step back from identifying as the thoughts and begin to witness their passing through the mind like clouds through the sky, without getting attached or carried away, without judging yourself for what you're thinking about, but just using the practice to become aware of the habits and patterns in the way the mind turns, becoming aware of what is working for you, what you would like to continue to cultivate, and where you can create space to pause and respond differently. Have a few more of those deep, long breaths, breathing down into the body and softening back and wide. And then with an inhale, you can reach the arms up and overhead. Give yourself a big stretch from fingertips to tippy toes. Exhale here. Inhale, draw the knees into the chest. Rock gently from side to massage the low back, if that feels good. And then with an exhale, roll to the right side body. Press down with the palms to lift up. Come to a comfortable seated position. Keep the eyes closed for just another moment. And check back in. Build the alignment from the ground up. Looking for that lightness that comes into the body when the bones and joints stack in the back body plane. So you can inner rotate the thigh bones to move the flesh of the buttocks out. Feel and find that you are pressing down evenly through both sits bones so that you can inhale, lift and lengthen through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. And as you exhale completely, roll the shoulders together down and into the back body. Notice if when you roll your shoulders back, if your head is still jutted forward, because we're mostly here. Slide your jawbone back, neck in line with the spine, and lift the tips of the ears up. Today, we are focusing on the action energy alignment at the crown of the head, the place from which we connect to the energy of the universe, to the big picture, to our own innate wholeness. And when life gets kind of disrupted, shaken up, flipped upside down, it can leave us with a lot of insecurity and anxiety. So the practice today is a practice to remind us that whatever the ebb and flow of our life is, however things evolve, shift, change, we are at our essence, the self of self, already whole and complete, worthy of the magical, beautiful experience of life, and enough. I think particularly for people that may be out of work right now, our society is so focused on like, you are valued and judged by your productivity. And maybe even people that are in work right now and are working extra hard and are the only people in their household working, then feel more than ever like they are measured and assessed and valued for their productivity, right? But this practice reminds us that we are all part of this big whole planet, community, world, and that we are also one in the sense of being the only one, the unique, particular version of ourselves that has something very unique and particular and important to contribute to all of these concentric circles of home, family, community, planet. Our yoga practice gives us the opportunity to sync the motions of the body with the breath, to come fully into the present moment in a way that we lose our insecurity and we lose our self-consciousness, and we're able to just be one with the energy that is flowing through us. As we practice this on our mat, we learn to take it out into our everyday lives, to seek the things that excite us and engage us so fully that we become just one with this energy, just an expression of it through the particular lens and prism of ourselves. So we'll hopefully find some of that in the practice today. With an inhale, you can reach your arms up and overhead. And exhale through the mouth with sound. Release down. We'll do that 2 more times to clear the body out. Inhale deeply. And exhale completely. 1 more time, reach past the skin and fingertips with your energy. And let it all go. And then we will inhale to prepare for the sound of Om 3 times together. Inhale deeply. So just allowing the sound and the vibration to resonate through the body, particularly observing where things get stuck, where the body constricts, because that's letting us know that's where our energy is getting a little bit blocked. Vibration and sound are one of the tools that we use in this practice to clear out our energy bodies. Another tool that we use is heat. We're going to take a moment to just connect more deeply to the breath. And we'll just take it super simple and easy today, connecting to our Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi means victory, victorious. So this victory of the higher self over the small, insecure, fearful, and anxious self. Just So Ujjayi breath is inhaling and exhaling through the nose while tightening up the back of the throat like you are fogging up a mirror. And breathing in and out through the nose in general slows the breath down and is calming for the nervous system. Tightening up through the back of the throat, constricting the air passageway, begins to generate a heat in the body, which will continue to burn through those places in the energy channels where your energy is getting stuck and stagnant, which is what the yogis believed was the root cause of dis-ease. So first, just inhale deeply through the nose, lift and lengthen through the crown. Exhale completely through the nose, soften the shoulders together and down. Continue at your own pace, tightening up through the back of the throat, allowing the breath to become gently audible to you and your pets around you. The sound is like waves crashing on the shore. So we're continuing with that vibration that clears out the body. And the sound acts as a focal point to steady the mind so that we can witness what arises, abides, and dissolves. Learning to connect to that consciousness, that higher self that is behind all of the fluctuations in the mind, and that is timeless and eternal, and who we truly are. So you're going to continue with this Ujjayi breath throughout the practice. With an inhale, you can gently open your eyes and come onto your hands and knees. Spread the fingers wide. Ground the knees under the hips. With an inhale, drop the abdomen down, arch the back, gaze up. With an exhale, press down and curl the spine to the ceiling. Continue these motions, cat-cow, at your own pace. Syncing the motions of the body with the breath. Allowing the breath to deepen the motions of the body. And allowing that synchronicity to bring you fully and completely into the present moment. Move in any way that feels good to you within the confines of the shapes. Allowing the mind to connect and receive the wisdom of the body. Remembering more than ever as we practice virtually to listen to your body. Good. With an inhale, return to center and exhale, pause here. The next inhale lifts your right leg straight behind you. Toes flexed and active, pointing down. And as you inhale, lift the abdomen towards the spine and lift the left arm up. As you exhale, find that extension through the back body plane. Stacking of the bones and joints in the back body. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Every inhale, that in and up from the floor to the core. Every exhale, that extension out in all directions. With your next exhale, you can release. And inhale, lift the left leg straight behind. Starting with the toes flexed and active, pointing down. Hip, knee, and ankle of that leg in one horizontal line. Next inhale, lift the right arm up, lifting the abdomen towards the spine and stretching through the back body plane for 3 deep, long breaths. Finding that pulsation between drawing in and up to the midline and extending out, getting longer in all directions. With your next exhale, release. Tuck the toes, lift the hips high, press it back. Downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal your feet or sway your hips. Move in any way that feels good to you here. Get your wiggles out and find some stillness. Building our connection to the shape from the ground up. Outer edge of the feet parallel with outer edge of the mat, feet as wide as the hips. Both hands evenly grounded. As you inhale, lift and spread the fingers and toes. Feel how that initiates the drawing of the energy in and up. Stretch the fingers and toes out and ground them down. From that grounding in the hands and feet, you get leverage to inhale and lift the hips high. Lift the abdomen towards the spine. Exhale, press the thigh bones up and back to where the wall meets the ceiling. Allow the head to hang heavy. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. If the hips are tight and the low back is rounded, play with a slight bend in the knees right over the ankles and see if that gives you more leverage to lift the hips and lengthen the lower back. With an inhale, float forward into plank pose and pause here. Hips at the height of the shoulders, and then we root the tailbone down. The whole front body still lifts to the back body, particularly the back of the ribs lift to meet the shoulder blades. So the shoulder blades can roll down the back, and the crown of the head can extend away from the heels. Have 1 more big breath here. And exhale, lower the knees, the chest, and the chin. Press the tops of the feet down. And inhale, lift the heart. Roll the shoulders back, low cobra. Everything on the ground, pressing firmly down to lift the heart and crown. Roll the shoulders together down and into the back body. And feel what's happening in the spine, particularly in the neck. We don't want to just crunch into one part of the neck. If you feel that, drop the chin down a little bit and maybe slide the jawbone back. Have 1 more big breath. And exhale, seat to heels, child's pose. Allow the weight of your hips to settle energetically towards your heels. And from that grounding in the lower body, inhale and walk the fingertips forward. Breathe length and space into each vertebrae in your spine. As you exhale completely, soften more deeply into the stretch. And then aligning the shoulders here, take your hands as wide as your shoulders. Press down into the hands to bring energy into the arms, lifting them away from the floor. Keeping that energy in the arms, pull from the fingertips to the center of the back of the heart, drawing the shoulders down away from the ears. As you exhale, soften the center of the shoulder blades and the outer armpits towards the floor. Have 3 more breaths here, locking this alignment into your muscle memory for down dog and for inversions in your future. Feel the space in the neck and throat. And then with an inhale, rise, hands and knees, arch the back, gaze up. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Finding that same action, energy, and alignment in the arms and shoulders. As you inhale, lift and spread your fingers and toes. Lift the abdomen towards the spine. Lift the hips high. As you exhale, thigh bones up and back to where the wall meets the ceiling. Feeling how that action in the thigh bones lengthens your lower back. Press down into the palms and pull from the fingertips to the center of the back of the heart. Then take the center of the shoulder blades up and back to the thigh bones. Allow the crown of the head to hang heavy. 3 more deep, long breaths. And with an inhale, begin to walk the feet forward to meet the hands. Come into that standing forward bend at the front of your mat. Let your head hang heavy. Shake it yes and no. Grab opposite elbows and sway. Release all the tension from the back, the shoulders, and the neck. Let it go through the crown of the head. Letting go of all of your judgments, expectations, limitations, projections. Making space to receive new information. With an inhale, return to center. And exhale through the mouth with sound. Release the arms down. The next inhale begins to roll the spine up. Pelvis spins around the femur bones. Vertebrae stack. Shoulders and head are the last things to rise. Good. So just checking in with our alignment from the ground up. All of the alignment in the physical body is so that we can connect correctly to the energy of the universe, so that we are channeling it through us with intention, directing it to create our reality without losing energy from the body at every little misalignment. So we want to get very intentional and check in with our stance, every time we're standing in line at the grocery store. So it becomes something that doesn't just happen on the yoga mat, but that happens in our everyday lives. Outer edge of your feet parallel with outer edge of the mat. Take your thigh bones back, stick your booty out a little bit. The center of the buttocks comes over the knees and ankles. And keeping the thigh bones back, so there's a balance of these actions at every level. Thigh bones back, draw the center of the buttocks into the midline to root the tailbone down. If you, like me, if your knees hyperextend, you have to start with a slight bend in the knees and think about lifting from the back of the knees up to the sits bones at the same time that you're pressing from the back of the knees down. With that super strong, steady engagement in the legs, as we root the tailbone down, we get the leverage to lift the pelvic triangle up and back, initiating that lift of the abdomen, side bodies, sides of the neck. We're lifting through the crown of the head, and I found the tips of the ears a very useful cue. And then roll the palms to face forward. Feel how that rolls the shoulders together onto your back. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Keeping that stacking of the bones and joints. Reach through the fingertips to get the leverage to soften the shoulders together and down the back. Make sure that the chin is parallel to the floor, the jawbone slides back. Eventually, the ears are in line with the biceps when the shoulders are fully open. And here is your handstand. Have 5 deep, long breaths. And with an exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen your spine. Feel free to bend the knees here if you need to ground the hands. But as you press your thigh bones back, the crown of the head draws forward. Press down into the fingertips to roll the shoulders together and onto the back. And keep that as you exhale and fold more deeply. The shoulders still lifting up, the crown of the head drawing down towards the floor. Do that a few more times on your own. Inhale, gaze forward, get length. Exhale, fold deeply. Keep the shoulders lifted. 3 more times. Exploring all of these actions and finding the balance for your body that keeps the bones and joints stacked, that keeps the shoulders back, that makes length and space and ease and freedom in the spine. With an inhale, gaze forward, get length. Exhale, step the right leg back, lower the right knee down. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, Anjaneyasana on the left side. Get super strong and stable and steady through the legs, energetically drawing them towards each other like scissors, rooting the tailbone down to lift the frontal hip bones. And you can stay right here, or you can straighten your back leg. Wherever you're working, have 3 more deep, long breaths, lifting through the fingertips and the crown of the head, softening the shoulders down the back. With that third exhale, release the hands, step the left foot back to meet the right, downward facing dog. Feel free to stay here or inhale and float forward into plank pose. Find that lift from the underside of the pose, that one long line of energy through the body, and keep it as you lower. Maybe you want to bend your knees to keep that length and space in the spine. Inhale, lift the heart, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Return to your breath. With an inhale, lift your right leg high. Lift from the inner thigh in the center of the heel. Press that left thigh bone back, creating balance and evenness in the pelvis that extends into the sides of the neck as you let the crown of the head hang heavy. With an exhale, step that right foot through between the hands. Lower the left knee down. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Hug your legs energetically towards each other. Root the tailbone down. Take the center of the buttocks forward as you lift the pelvic triangle to initiate the lift of the whole torso away from the pelvic floor. If you did so on the other side, straighten your back leg. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Looking for that stacking of the bones and joints in the back body plane. And with an exhale, release your hands down to the mat. Inhale, step the back foot forward, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold deeply into the legs. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, come to stand. Exhale, release the arms down by your sides. Tadasana, mountain pose. Check back in with your alignment. Thigh bones back, center of the buttocks into the midline, palms face forward. Lift through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. With an inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Grab the left wrist with the right hand and exhale, take it up and over to the right side. Continuing to press from the pelvis through the heels to draw the abdomen in and up and stretch both side bodies and sides of the neck long. Roll the shoulders together and down the back. One more big breath. Inhale to center. Feel and find the center. Make any adjustments you need to make. Take the right wrist with the left hand and exhale it up and over to the left side. Stacking the bones and joints with a uniform curve in the body and the spine. From the tailbone, press through the heels. Cinch the low ribs and the hip bones together. Stretch the side bodies and sides of the neck long. As you roll the shoulders down the back, feel what's happening in the neck. Have one more breath. And inhale to center. Exhale, fold. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen. Exhale, step the left leg back. Lunge on the right side. Front knee stacks right over the front ankle. Always an option to lower the back knee down for support. As you inhale, you're scissoring those legs together, bringing the hips to face forward, lifting the back thigh bone and the abdomen. As you exhale, extend through the back heel and the crown of the head. Find that one long line of energy and inhale, stretch the fingertips forward. Exhale, lower the left hand down, lift the right arm up for a twist. Press out through the palms to roll the shoulders together down and into the back body. Feel what's happening in the neck. Chin in line with the sternum. Slide the jawbone back. Maybe gaze up. With your next exhale, release. Step that right foot back, downward facing dog. You are welcome to stay here or to inhale and float forward into plank pose. Exhale, lower, keeping that one line of energy through the body. Using the knees for support if you should. Inhale, lift the heart, roll the shoulders back. Low cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, lift the hips. Press back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg high. Lifting from the inner thigh and the center of the heel. Press that right thigh bone back and press out through both heels. Find that balance and evenness in the pelvis that breathes balance and evenness into the side bodies and sides of the neck. With an exhale, step the left foot through between the hands. Coming into that lunge with the front knee stacked right over the front ankle. As you inhale, hug the legs together. Feel how that lifts your back thigh bone and your abdomen. Next, exhale, stretch from crown to heel. And then inhale, reach the hands forward. Before we twist, we lengthen the spine. Exhale, drop the right hand down. Lift the left arm up. Press out through your palms to roll the shoulders together down and into the back body. Bring your chin in line with your sternum and slide your jawbone back. Maybe lift your gaze up. One more big breath. And exhale, release. Inhale, step the back foot forward, get length through the spine. Exhale, fold more deeply. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead, come to stand. Exhale, release the arms down by your sides. Tadasana. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, gaze forward, get length. Exhale, ground the palms, step or jump back to plank. Lift the back of the ribs to meet the shoulder blades. Roll the shoulders down the back, extend the crown of the head forward, and exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the heart. Roll the shoulders back. Extend the crown up. Exhale, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Return to your breath. Allow the breath to be deep and long, filling the body from the inside out like a balloon. And as you exhale completely, see where you can soften, both in the body and in the mind. With your next inhale, gaze forward. Step or jump the feet to meet the hands. Exhale, fold deeply into the legs. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, come to stand. Exhale, release the arms down by your sides. Tadasana. One more time with sun cell A. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, gaze forward, get leg. Exhale, ground the palms, step or jump back to plank and lower. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the crown. Exhale, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Return your awareness to the breath. The breath provides everything that we need. Through the breath, we can draw up the qualities of the earth. The strength, the stability, the steadiness. Drawing it from the floor to the core. And as you exhale, learning to embody those qualities, to shine them out in all directions, through the four corners of the hands, the feet, the crown of the head, learning to provide them to the world around you. With an inhale, gaze forward, step or jump the feet to meet the hands. Exhale, fold deeply into the legs. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, come to stand. Exhale, release the arms down by your sides. Tadasana, mountain pose. This time we're going to interlace the thumbs like two little birds. Take a slight bend in the knees to start. And with an inhale, arms reach up, straightening the legs. Root the tailbone down as you lift the sternum and arch back. Exhale, fold forward over the legs. Interlace the hands behind your back. Always an option to bend the knees here while we think about the alignment in the shoulders and crown of the head. We still want our shoulders to draw together and down the back, which is up in direction away from the ears here. The crown of the head hangs heavy so that the back of the neck is long. And then you can begin to draw the arms more actively away from the back body. Have one more big breath. And with an inhale, arms reach up, drop the seat, chair pose. Whether the feet are together or apart, the knees bend in line with the ankles. Sticking your booty out gets you low. Rooting your tailbone down to lift the frontal hip bones. To lift through the fingertips and the crown of the head. Soften the shoulders down your back. And soften the low ribs down and back. With your next exhale, gaze down, shift the weight to the right foot, step the left leg back. Warrior one on the right side. Keeping that deep bend in your front knee. Inner rotating the back thigh bone to bring the hips into alignment. We root the tailbone down so we can lift the frontal hip bones and lift through the crown and the fingertips. Have one more big breath here. And exhale, ground your palms, step back. Move through a vinyasa or come to downward facing dog. Your choice. Maybe there's a child's pose in there. Remembering that this space on your mat is a practice of listening to your body, of finding the balance between effort and ease, of will and surrender, that enables us to be in the flow of our lives. It's not a practice of beating yourself up, right? We'll meet in downward facing dog. Have one more big breath. With an inhale, gaze forward, step or jump the feet to meet the hands. Get length through the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, drop the seat, arms reach up, chair pose. Exhale, stand tall, Tadasana, mountain pose. One more time. Interlacing the thumbs, slight bend in the knees. Inhale, reach the arms up, root the tailbone down as you lift the sternum, lean back. Exhale, fold forward, switching out the crossing of the hands as you interlace them behind the back. If we need to bend the knees to fold deeply here, please do that. Then draw the shoulders together and down the back, away from the ears, which is up in direction. Let the crown of the head hang heavy, making space in the back of the neck. Then draw the leg and arms, more actively towards the front of your mat. Have one more big breath. And inhale, arms reach up, drop the seat, chair pose. Sticking your booty out to get low. Drawing the center of the buttocks into the midline to begin to lean into the back body and stack the vertebrae. We stretch through the crown and fingertips. Soften the shoulders down the back and soften the low ribs down the front. Have one more big breath. And then gaze down and shift the weight to the left foot. Step the right leg back. Come into your warrior one shape on the left side. Inner rotating that back thigh bone to bring the right hip in line with the left. The tailbone roots down so we can begin to lean into the back body, drawing the whole front body back. Have one more big breath. And exhale, release. Ground the palms, step back. Move through a vinyasa, or come to downward facing dog, or to child's pose. Wherever you're working, return your awareness to your breath. Allow the breath to be deep and long. Feel how that balance and evenness in the breath breathes balance and evenness into the heart rate and the speed of the thoughts through the mind. The breath connects us to all sentient beings, past, present, and future, so we can breathe in the support of the ancestors and offer out our support to future generations. We'll meet back in downward facing dog, and with an inhale, gaze forward, step or jump to feet to meet the hands. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, drop the seat, arms reach up, chair pose. Exhale, stand tall, arms by your sides, Tadasana, mountain pose. Good work. How is everyone doing? Good. Okay, I'm just checking on the time. Got a few more minutes till the shit show stops. I'm gonna actually just stop on Instagram and then restart.
because it only allows you to do an hour. And I always forget and get cut off in the middle of it. There we go, restarting.
So we're gonna take our feet wide, outer edge of the feet parallel with outer edge of the mat. Turn your left foot in slightly. Turn your right foot out all the way. We're finding that stacking of the bones and joints in the back body plane, and we're keeping it as we transition into the pose. So the standing thigh bone is back, in line with the knee and ankle of the back leg. With an exhale, take a deep bend in your front knee. Stack that front knee right over the front ankle. The back thigh is slightly inner rotated, so the thigh bone is in the hip socket. And then both thigh bones press back to fully open the hips in the side body plane. The tailbone is rooting down right between the sits bones. And from there, inhale, reach up, reach that left arm around behind you. Gaze up without collapsing the neck, finding that uniform curve for peaceful warrior. Have 5 breaths here, holding the vision and thought of what peace looks like in your heart and mind. And with an inhale, come forward and down. Bringing your elbow to your knee or your fingertips to the floor for side angle. Again, that back thigh bone is back in line with the knee and ankle, rooting down from the tailbone through the heel, the back edge of the back foot. And from that leverage of grounding in the pelvis, front butt cheek into the midline of the body, stretch your arm over your ear for side angle. Draw the abdomen back and turn it up and to the left. Feel what's happening in the neck. Keeping the head in line with the arm. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And inhale, rise. Straighten that front leg. Turn the outer edge of the feet parallel with the outer edge of the mat. Inhale, lift the abdomen, the heart, and the crown. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Bringing your hands to the floor. Maybe walking them back between your feet. Hands are as wide as the shoulders. Bend the elbows over the wrists. Allow the crown of the head to hang heavy. Maybe the head can touch the floor. Either way, if the head can touch the floor or if you have a prop to put under your head, that's great because we want to stimulate the crown of the head today. But either way, even if it's not touching the floor, press down into the hands to lift the shoulders away from the ears. Elbows stack over the wrist, elbows hug into the midline of the body. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And then with an inhale, lift the abdomen, lift the gaze. Bring your hands onto your hips. Next inhale, ground down to lift up. Turn that right foot in slightly and the left foot out all the way. Making sure that back thigh bone is back in line with the knee and ankle of the back leg. Arms out to the side. Exhale, a deep bend in your front knee. The knee bends in line with the ankle. We don't let the knee fall inward, so we have to protect the hinge of the joint. The back thigh bone is inner rotating slightly and also pressing back to fully open the hips in the side body plane. The tailbone rooting down gives us the leverage to inhale, lift the abdomen, the heart, reach that right arm behind your back, gaze up, Create a uniform curve in the neck and spine. Have 5 breaths. Envisioning peace. Knowing that you have something important to contribute to that peace for all. And then with an inhale, stretching forward and down. Maybe the hand comes to the elbow. Maybe the hand comes to the floor behind your foot. That back thigh bone is still in line with the knee and ankle. From the tailbone, press through the back heel and the back edge of the back foot. Notice if your front buttock is sticking out and hug it into the midline of the body as you stretch the arm over the ear. With an inhale, pull the abdomen towards the spine and shift the gaze, turn the abdomen up. Stack the shoulders, open the heart. Keep the head in line with the arm. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And with an inhale, rise. Straighten the leg. Turn the outer edge of both feet parallel with the outer edge of the mat. Ground down with the tailbone. Keeping the hips in line with the knees and ankles. As you lift the sternum, exhale, fold forward. Bring your hands back down to the floor. If headstand is part of your practice and you want to come into a headstand here, you're welcome to do that. Remembering that action of pressing into the hands to lift the shoulders. I'm going to lead you through a twist if headstand is not part of your practice or you don't want to do it today. So with an inhale, lift the gaze, lift the abdomen, bring the left hand under the face, bring the right hand onto the sacrum. Feel that triangular bone at the base of your spine is parallel to the floor. If the tailbone is tipping back, you've got to lift from the back of the knees up. If it's dropping forward, you've got to lift the frontal hip bones towards the spine. When the sacrum is neutral, widen the left inner thigh to the left to be that equal and opposite force that stabilizes the pelvis. And inhale, lift the right arm up. So there's one line from tailbone to crown, and from hand to hand as you press out through the palms, roll the shoulders together down and into the back. Chin in line with the sternum, slide the jawbone back, and maybe shift your gaze up. One more big breath. Oh, and exhale, release. Allow the head to hang heavy. Have a breath here. And then inhale, gaze forward, get leg. Ground the right hand under the face, left hand onto the sacrum. Feel what adjustments you need to make to bring balance and evenness into that triangular bone at the base of your pelvis. Then widen the right inner thigh to the right to maintain that. As you inhale, lift the abdomen, lengthen the crown away from the tailbone, and lift the left arm up. Press out through your palms to hug the shoulders together down and into the back. Your palm faces the same direction as your face. Chin in line with the sternum. Slide the jawbone back. Maybe gaze up. Have one more big breath. And exhale, release. Inhale, gaze forward, get length. Bring the hands to the hips. Root down to rise up with your next inhale. Step or jump the feet together. Come back to the top of your mat. We're going to do a standing balance pose to close out. So you're going to shift your weight onto your left foot. Make sure your foot's facing forward, outer edge of the foot parallel with outer edge of the mat. Inhale, lift the right knee. Interlace your hands behind your right thigh. And again, standing thigh bone back. Press the lifted thigh bone down into the hands to ground both sides of the pelvis evenly. And then extend your heel forward. Pressing the thigh bones back to lengthen the tailbone, to lift the abdomen, the heart, the crown of the head. Stacking those bones and joints in the back body plane. You can stay right here, or you can bring your hands to the hips, point your toe. 5 breaths. And with an exhale, release. You can shake out the hips a little bit. And then again, shifting the weight to the right foot. Making sure your foot faces forward. Outer edge of the foot parallel with outer edge of the mat. Find a focal point to steady your gaze. Inhale, lift the left knee. Interlace the hands behind the left thigh. As soon as you lift your leg, your hips want to go forward. So taking the standing thigh bone back. Pressing the leg down into the hands. Extend the heel forward. Get length and space through the spine. Jawbone back. Lift through the tips of the ears. If you did so on the other side, hands to the hips, point your toe, 5 breaths. And with an exhale, release. Shake it out a little bit. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale through the mouth with sound as you fall forward. The balancing poses give you a lot of information. Inhale, gaze forward, get length. Exhale, ground the palms, step or jump back. Move through a vinyasa or come to down dog. We'll all meet in child's pose. Checking back in with the quality of the breath, the speed of the thoughts through the mind. At this point in your practice, good. We'll rise up to stand on the knees. We'll do a camel or camel prep pose. So the knees are as wide as the hips. The tailbone roots down. The center of the buttocks draws into the midline to keep the hips over the knees. And the point of this pose is not to touch your hands to your feet behind you, but it is to lift your sternum up and engage the muscles on the sides and the back to support the arch of the back. So uniform curve in the spine is our main goal here. You can bring your hands onto your lower back. They're gonna press down and help draw the center of the buttocks into the midline. Roll the shoulders together onto the back. And with an inhale, lift your sternum, lift your gaze. Exhale, lean back. Again, rolling the shoulders back, lifting from the back of the heart up. Exhale, slide your jawbone back, neck in line with the spine. If you have low back pain, back off, come out of it. If you can keep this lift through the sternum, the length and space on all sides of the neck and throat, when you touch the heels, feel free to do it. 3 more breaths wherever you're working. Each inhale, lifting the sternum. Each exhale, gazing up without collapsing into the neck. And with an inhale, rise. And exhale, sit back on your heels or between your heels. Or take another comfortable seat if that is stressful to the knees or hips. Remembering that stretching
Stretching muscle pain is okay, but sharp shooting pain, joint and bone pain is not what we're looking for in the practice. Good. We're gonna extend the right leg out. Try keeping the left leg bent in that half hero's pose. Again, if that's uncomfortable for your knee and hip, take a different variation. Do something like this. But if it's accessible, you'll notice there's an imbalance in this shape. So you really have to ground down through that left side so you can lift and lengthen through the right side. If the pelvis is tilted back, like we talked about at the beginning of class, you're gonna wanna sit up on a block or a blanket. Getting those sits bones grounded down. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the crown. Exhale, fold deeply. You can, reach your hands towards your ankle. Maybe you can grab your foot. Eventually, you'll grab the left wrist with the right hand. So you can press the foot into the hands, pull the hands on the foot, root both sits bones down, and fold more deeply, creating a uniform curve in the spine. Have 5 breaths. Breathing into those places that feel tight and sore and stuck. And as you exhale completely, letting go, softening more deeply into the stretch. With an inhale, rise. And now we're gonna bend that right leg, grounding the fingertips by the hips, lifting up. You are welcome to stay right here for the twist, taking the left elbow outside the right knee. You are also welcome to play with the knee closed, bringing that foot onto the thigh, or maybe even into the hip crease. Again, if it's too much on your knee, you gotta listen to your body, you gotta figure it out. Another great option is to bring the foot into the thigh here. But we're gonna take a twist, whatever choice you make. So inhale, lift that left arm up. And exhale, maybe you're bringing it outside the right knee. Maybe the hand comes onto the knee if the foot is on the inner thigh, or if it's on top, this right hand can reach around for the right big toe. The twisting alignment is always the same. Both sits bones root down to inhale, lift, and lengthen through the crown. Exhale, deepen the twist, pressing out through the arms to roll the shoulders together down and into the back body. Chin in line with the sternum as you slide the jawbone back, and then shift the gaze behind you. 5 breaths. Good, release. We're gonna switch sides. So first extending both legs out in front of you, then drawing the right foot into that half Virasana. I like to roll my calf muscle out, bring my foot in close to my buttocks and press the top of the foot down. We don't want our knees playing out here. Again, if this is too much on the hip or knee, it can be helpful to sit up on a block or a blanket or a pillow or whatever crap you have laying around your house. If it still doesn't feel right, come into this variation instead. But if you're okay here, or either way, both variations, we ground down through the sits bones to lift and lengthen through the crown. And exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Bringing your hands towards your ankle. Maybe you can grab your foot. Maybe eventually you're grabbing the right wrist with the left hand. The foot can press into the hands then, and you can pull the hands back on the foot to root the sits bones down. There's an imbalance at the foundation, so we have to use our awareness to cultivate balance. And then breathe length and space into the spine, working to create a uniform curve, working to keep the shoulders back. Have 5 breaths. And with an inhale, slowly rise. Draw this left knee in, and maybe you want to stay right here, taking the opposite elbow outside the knee for a twist. Maybe you want to drop that foot down onto the inner thigh. Maybe you want to take the foot onto the thigh, eventually moving it all the way to the hip crease. Again, if you feel a sharp thing in your knee, that means that's not the variation. Today is not the day. Either way, ground your fingertips by your hips. Inhale, lift the abdomen, the heart, the crown. Exhale, twist to the left. Maybe bringing your right elbow outside the left knee. Maybe pressing the hand on the leg. Maybe the hand comes to the knee and that left hand reaches around behind you for the left foot. Either way, we press through both sits bones, lift and lengthen through the crown. Exhale, deepen our twist, pressing out through the hands to roll the shoulders together down and into the back body. Chin in line with the sternum, slide back. Lift tips of the ears and crown of the head as you gaze behind you. 5 breaths. And exhale, release. Extend both legs out. Press the thigh bones down. Flex the feet. Ground the fingertips by the hips. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the crown. Exhale, fold over those straight legs. 10 breaths here. I've been incorporating more forward folds because they bring the energy down and in, which is calming for the nervous system. Something that we kind of all need to incorporate into our practice right now. With an inhale, slowly rise. We'll end with fish pose. One last pose to stimulate the crown of the head. So lean back on your forearms, and you want to roll your shoulders under your back, onto your back, so that the forearms are under your body for support. And let's point our toes here. With an inhale, lift the sternum, and exhale, drop the head back. I have to slide my forearms back towards my hips so that my head can actually come down towards the floor. Then pressing into the palms and forearms to lift the sternum. If there's discomfort in the lower back, you've got to root your tailbone down more as you work. You're welcome to stay here, to lift the hands in prayer above the heart.
or to lift the legs into Navasana, boat pose. Wherever you're working, 5 more deep, long breaths. And release the legs, lift the head, lower into Shavasana. Final relaxation. Again, if there's any discomfort in the lower back, always feel free to place a pillow under the knees, to place the knees up on the calves up on a chair or the legs up the wall. You can also just bend the knees, feet as wide as the mat. Let the knees fall in towards each other. Wherever you find yourself, return your awareness to your breath and allow the breath to be so deep and so long that it touches down into the bottoms of the feet and the tips of the toes. As you exhale completely, any residual tension, insecurity, ideas of self-doubt or unworthiness, leave the body with the breath, hey boo, through the fingertips. So through this practice, we clear out, letting go of limitations, judgments, projections, expectations, making space to experience joy, to channel the energy through the prism of self in a way that is so authentic that we are one with it.
Take this moment to savor any oneness you experienced in the body or mind through the practice today. Begin to intentionally deepen your inhales. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Gently sway the head. With an inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Give yourself a big stretch from fingertips to tippy toes. Exhale here. Inhale, draw the knees into the chest. And exhale, roll to the right side body. Use that right arm as a pillow as you pause for a moment. Move slowly as you transition to preserve this serenity we've cultivated through our practice. Press down with the palms to lift up. Come to a comfortable seated position. Keep your eyes closed for just another moment. Check back in with the quality of the breath, the tension in the body, and the speed of the thoughts through the mind in this moment after your practice. And then anchor the awareness back on the breath. We will seal our collective efforts with a single Om, allowing the pelvis to be heavy and ground you down. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. Exhale, roll the shoulders together down and into the back body.
lean gently back to stack the vertebrae. Align this internal antenna that connects us to all things. And inhale deeply to prepare for Om. Bring the hands to the heart. Bow the head in gratitude for the tools of this practice that remind us to turn our lives into a moving meditation where whatever we do it so fully we become it. Thank you all so much for being here. Happy Saturday. I'm not sure if it matters anymore. Have a great rest of your day. Does anyone have anything to say?
Just thank you.
Thank you. It's really nice to see some faces. I'm sending out a shit ton of emails and classes. If you want to not receive them all and only some of them, just let me know. Usually there's a recording unless somehow I mess it up. So those go out after the live class.
I love receiving them. They're a highlight of my day.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear it. I miss y'all.
Miss you too.
Bye.
Yeah.
See ya.